This isn't done until they're dead.
How's it going out there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a week or so ago, and is a spin-off film of a great series that started back in 2014. So we're gonna get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms such as X, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Tumblr, lots of other things. I pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check them out. As always, people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, I've been doing a movie review of a new film that just came out about a week or so ago, and is a great spin-off film that is from a great franchise that started back in 2014 called Ballerina. Yeah, Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Yeah, Ballerina. Yeah. So Ballerina is the newest film from the John Wick franchise. It is the actual first spin-off film from the original 4 John Wick films. And once again, we have a new titular character who still features the great John Wick, of course, and is basically, you know, kind of a world within that same world type of deal. And one thing I liked about Ballerina is that it kept the cohesion of the John Wick universe very cohesive. And all that was going on in this film was all happening adjacent to, you know, what was going on in John Wick's original timeline of his 4 films. Now, if you're not familiar with, you know, Ballerina or haven't seen any of the John Wicks, definitely a great series to get into, because this film is just dynamite. I was really worried about it, especially because it got pushed back a whole year. It had a lot of reshoots and a lot of negativity about it. But I think bringing back Chad Stahelski back into it and everything really helped bring this film to a great film itself, and ended up being really amazing. I thought the action was really fantastic in it. I thought everyone did a great job. I think that the writing, the storyline was really great, and I thought that, like I said, I thought it really, segued really well into the actual John Wick universe. And, being a part of that universe, it's hard when you have so many successful 4 films that are so loved and endured, and then putting a spin-off into it and hoping that it's just as good as those. Sometimes it can be hard, and I feel Ballerina really did that and really did a good job of bringing that to life and giving us a solid extra film in that great universe. Now, if you haven't seen any of the John Wick films, I highly recommend check them out before you go see this, so that you can understand where this is in the timeline. So I just want to throw that out there. So this film is none other directed by a gentleman that goes by the name of Mr. Len Wiseman. Oh yeah, Len Wiseman, woo, Len Wiseman, yeah! So if you're not familiar with Len Wiseman, you might recognize him, of course, as the former husband of Miss Kate Beckinsale. You might recognize him from a few other films he's done over the years. And he is a really great action director. He has a really great eye for action and really knows a lot of great fun things. And he is a great producer. He puts his productions into a lot of the films that he's done and all that kind of good stuff, and is just a really, really fun director. And I think he has a really great eye for directing too, and I think he makes really decent films. And I think that's what he brought to this spin-off film, for the John Wick franchise. And, Len Wiseman has such a great reputation of being an action director that I think this was, really great, right up his alley. And I think he proved it very well with what he brought to this film. Now, I don't know where he was going with it before the reshoots and stuff like that, but I do know that they've said that he was there, he helped do the reshoots and all that kind of stuff, and that they changed some things, but overall I think that from what I saw of the final product, he did a really fantastic job with the film. He really gave us that same John Wick universe feel. He kept it feeling like that. The music in the film was so fantastic, and he just really brought a really great new addition to that franchise. And I really enjoyed, too, that he kept all the action just like how the other John Wick films were. And I like that he didn't add any different spins or anything to it, and he kept it like the John Wick universe. And also, I think he did a good job of just getting really great, performances out of all of the actors and actresses that were a part of this film that were done so well and so fun. And I think that he really delivered and gave us this really knockout film that I think is going to go down and be very well loved years from now. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Len Wiseman has directed, definitely a film to check out of his, and I think is a really great film. Is a great film that he did back in the early 2000s with his former flame. And that, of course, film called Underworld. Yeah! Underworld. Yeah! So he directed the first two Underworld films. He did produce the other two that are in the franchise, or three, I believe. And he, did a great job with Underworld. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great new take on vampires. I liked the whole Lycan vampire mix that he brought to the film series. And I just think he had a really great cast. I mean, besides Kate Beckinsale playing Selena, and then, of course, you had, a whole bunch of great other actors and actresses throughout the film. He just really delivered a really fantastic vampire film that I felt was along the lines of like Blade, or along the lines of like not like your classic, like, oh, just gotta go hunt vampire deal. I come across a vampire. This is about like full on like gang war between vampires and Lycan, and I thought that was a really great concept, and I think Len did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this really solid film that I think, 20 plus years later is still absolutely fantastic. The fight choreography and the action sequences are so good. The graphics are still really great 20 plus years later, and just the whole thought process and everything about it was just so well constructed, and he made such a great new universe that was so cool. And I think that he just did a really great job of giving us this really great new vampire flick that really just kicked butt. If you haven't seen anything Len Wiseman has directed, definitely check out Underworld. He did a really fantastic job with it. But overall, I think what he did with Ballerina was absolutely amazing. I thought he did a great job and gave us a really great spin-off / part of the universe film. And I just think it's an all-around really great directing, accomplishment, and just a really great directing job that really gave us a really fun film. If you haven't seen anything Len Wiseman has directed, go check out Ballerina theaters now. He did a phenomenal job. So this movie has a really great cast, really enjoyable, lots of great people involved with the film, and of course we have people returning from the John Wick franchise itself, along with some newcomers and all that kind of good stuff. And this film just was really well casted, and I think everyone did a great job portraying their characters and gave us this really dynamite, action-packed film. Now to start us off is none other than Ballerina herself, Miss Gorgeous, Amazing, Miss Ana de Armas! Oh yeah! Ana de Armas! Woo! Ana de Armas! Yeah! Oh my gosh, Ana de Armas is so awesome, from her portrayal in Knock Knock to her portrayal in Blade Runner 2049 to many other things she's been in. She is just an absolute fun actress. She's so fun to watch. She's always enjoyable. She's absolutely gorgeous, but I think she's got some really decent acting chops in her, and I appreciate the acting she provides in her films. And I think she does a really good job. I mean, she's done everything from action to dramatic to even just being that kind of ditzy kind of, sex symbol type of deal, and I think that she does a great job of providing all those types of different, acting, positions, and I think she did a great job here in Ballerina. I thought she kicked butt. I thought she really knocked it out of the park, and I thought she was a really great kind of, addition to the great John Wick himself. And, I love the fact that she play the character to her strengths, and I thought that was really done well, and I think that's really great writing, and I think that she acted it out so well and really provided this really great kind of awesome new character that wasn't trying to upstage or, make it look like John Wick sucked or anything, or like she was better than John Wick, but she did a good job of portraying this character to really build on that world instead of like trying to replace John Wick. And I think that was really great acting by her part. And I just think that, she did a great job of giving us this really great character that, is really about revenge. But at the same time, she's got this great sense of humanity to her that she's just this girl trying to deal with what she went through, and she just did an absolute fantastic job. So a great movie to check out of Ana de Armas if you haven't seen any of her movies. Is a great film that came out a few years ago that is part of a great series that's getting its third film this year. And that happens to be called Knives Out. Yeah, Knives Out. Yeah. So Knives Out is a great film by Rian Johnson, or Ryan Johnson, however you want to say it, and is the first film in the Knives Out series that stars, of course, Daniel Craig as the titular detective character. And Ana de Armas is in this first one, and she plays the nurse of Christopher Plummer's character, and she was just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved her in it. I thought she did such a great job. You just felt for her throughout the whole entire film. You really felt like she really was upset. You felt like she really was that sweet of a person. And I just liked how she brought together that character and really gave us this really interesting character that really designs itself around her own personality, and I think it really plays out very well. And I just really enjoyed that she really brought a kind of a great tenderness to the character too, and you kind of just fall in love with the character and you really enjoy her performance. She just was really superb in the film, and I loved how she interacted with everyone, especially her and Chris Evans. I thought their chemistry was really decent too as well. And just overall, I think that it was just a really great performance by Ana de Armas, and really shows her great acting talent, even in a more dramatic type of role, versus kind of being a little comedy versus, with drama and stuff like that, and like what she brought to Ballerina. But she just was absolutely fantastic in the film. If you haven't seen Ana de Armas or anything, definitely check out her Knives Out. She was really fantastic in it. But overall, I really enjoyed her in Ballerina. I thought she did such a great job, and she played the title character so well, and just was so badass and awesome. If you haven't seen Ana de Armas in anything recently, go check her out at Ballerina now. In theaters, worth the watch for her. She was absolutely fantastic. So that brings me to the next person I like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than another great actress that has been around for many, many years, has a family legacy in the film industry, and is just a really fantastic actress. And that, of course, is Miss Anjelica Huston. Oh yeah, Anjelica Huston, woo! Anjelica Huston, yeah! So Anjelica Huston, you might recognize from a slew of things over the years. She's become real prominent in things. She's played really great bad guys. She's played really great funny people. She's played interesting different characters all over the place. And, in her prime, she really was considered, I feel, a huge sex symbol. And so it's kind of funny seeing her now and how different she looks versus how she looked, 30, 40 years ago. And it's just, always a pleasure to see her still, but I just think it's like, it looks almost like a different, complete woman. And I think that, that's really interesting how much she changed over the years. But Anjelica Huston is just a really great actress. I really enjoy her in majority of anything I've seen her in. And she always plays the characters very well. She has a really great time at, developing the characters and really, going into the characters and really giving us a really decent performance that you find enjoyable, entertaining, and also just a really good addition to that film. And in, this, the John Wick franchise, we've seen her a little bit in Parabellum, and we also saw her a little bit in Chapter 4. And, she, really didn't get much screen time in those two films, so it was really great to see her have some more screen time in Ballerina. And I thought she did such a great job. She just was so awesome, so great as this character. I love the accent. I love what she brought to the character. And also, I think she just is a really great kind of addition to that universe as well. Along with Keanu Reeves as, John Wick, and with Winston and the other characters that are kind of primary characters in the John Wick universe. And I think that her character is just a really interesting kind of mob boss type of character that is just really interesting. And I like that, you get to see a little bit more of her in, this film. And she really gets to showcase more of what that character is about and kind of her position and kind of like what she does and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. And I think Angelica did a great job with that. Now, if you haven't seen Angelica Houston anything, definitely a great film to check her out in. Is a great film that came out in the early 90s called The Addams Family. Yeah! The Addams Family. Yeah! So she plays Morticia Addams in the first two live-action Addams Family movies that came out in the early 90s, and she was just absolutely fantastic as Morticia. She looks so different than she does now. She was very beautiful and just, played her to the T. She had the presence, she had the look, and everything about her performance just was on point for a great Morticia. And, I think that she did a great job of kind of making herself a little different versus the original Morticia in the 60s TV show. And I really appreciate it because I liked where she took the character and how she was very dark humorish. And I also liked that she brought some great sense to the character that was different than the original Morticia. And her and Raul Julia just worked so well together, and they were so awesome. And she just delivered Morticia so well, and she should get so much recognition for how awesome she was as that character. If you haven't seen Angelica Houston, I think definitely check out In the Addams Family. She was absolutely superb in it. But overall, she was a great addition to Ballerina. It was great to see her character more, see more development of the character, and overall, I just think Angelica did a really great job. If you haven't seen her recently, anything, go check her out in Ballerina. She was superb. So that brings me to the next person I'd like to talk about in this film. And that, of course, is the main villain of the film, Mr. Gabriel Bryan. Oh, yeah, Gabriel Bryan. Woo, Gabriel Bryan, yeah. Or Gabriel Byrne, yeah. So Gabriel Byrne, or Bryan, however you want to say it, is such a fantastic character actor. He's been in so many different things over the years. You might recognize him, of course, from The Three Musketeers. You might recognize him from many other films over the years. And he always plays just really great characters. And he can play all different types. He's played, great drama. He's played great action. He's played comedy. I mean, he's played all different types of stuff. And he is just really good no matter what he does, because he just is such a great actor that just always delivers. And I think that his bad guy character in Ballerina was really awesome and really solid. And I really enjoyed him compared to some of the other John Wick villains. I think he was a really superb villain. And I got nothing against, Sasgard in the last film, in Chapter 4, but I just think Gabriel Bryan was just a tad bit awesomer as a villain. And he had some great one-liners throughout the film. He just really delivered the character. Plus, also, I just really enjoyed kind of his demeanor and how he was just like, it's going to be done my way, and stuff like that was just really awesome. And it felt like a real villain again. And it just was really superb and really well written and just really well acted by Gabriel. And he just did a really fantastic job. Now, if you haven't seen Gabriel Byrne in anything, or Gabriel Bryan, however you like to say it, he was in a great film that was just really awesome that came out in the late 90s, and he plays a really good evil villain. And that, of course, a film called End of Days. Yeah! End of Days. Yeah! End of Days is such a great horror / kind of sci-fi action film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Gabriel Byrne plays, Satan in the film, and he is just absolutely fantastic as a character. And a lot of people have played Satan over the years, and some are really good, like Peter Stormare, so forth. But Gabriel Byrne's version was just so evil, it's so awesome, and just so well orchestrated by Gabriel. And he just played the character so well and to the T. and I really enjoyed just how evil he got and how he really had a suave sophistication to him too as well that really played well into the character as well. And it just was an all-around such a great performance by Gabriel, and he just really knocked it out of the park, I thought. And I don't think he gets enough recognition for playing that character in that film. I don't really hear many people talking about his performance in the film, and I think that it's something that is kind of underrated, and he just was really awesome in it. If you haven't seen Gabriel Byrne in anything, definitely check him out in End of Days. He was absolutely phenomenal in it. But overall, he was really phenomenal in The Ballerina as well. I really enjoyed him. I thought he was a really superb villain. And overall, I thought he was a really great addition to this film. If you haven't seen Gabriel Byrne in anything recently, go check him out in Ballerina. He's absolutely epic. So that brings me to the final actor I like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than John Wick himself, Mr. Keanu Reeves. Oh yeah, Keanu Reeves. Woo, Keanu Reeves, yeah! So, Keanu Reeves, of course, you know, as John Wick. But then, of course, you might recognize him from a slew of other films over the years, from the Bill and Ted's to, of course, Constantine to, you know, many other things that he's been in over the years, and all the different types of genres he's done. And he's just one of those great actors that's always fun to check out. And he just works really well in all of his films. He's always interesting. He's always fun. He plays all different types of genres. I mean, he's gone from doing, like, you know, drama kids films like Hardball to romantic comedies like The Lake House to, you know, drama thrillers and action action-packed films and, you know, horror films like The Watcher and so forth. And he's just a really versatile, really great actor. And, you know, him coming back to play John Wick in this was just so freaking awesome. And I was so glad that, you know, he was going to be in it. And he actually was in it a lot more than I thought he was going to be. And I was really ecstatic about that, because that made the film even more enjoyable and more of a great part of the John Wick universe. And Keanu is just so awesome as John. He kicks butt always. He's so awesome, so masterful, and he just really rocks the character. And he did that in his brief part that was in Ballerina. And we get some interesting types of thought process, too, with the characterization of John in this, too, because we see that Ballerina is going on in between John Wick Chapter 3 and John Wick Chapter 4. And so we get to see him, you know, in the area that we are being introduced to Ballerina, and that is really awesome. And Keanu did such a great job of doing those scenes and giving us a really great intro slash kind of connection to, you know, Ana de Armas' character and stuff like that. And Keanu was just so freaking awesome. And I can't say enough good things about Keanu, because he's just really awesome to watch. He's always awesome. He's a great, awesome person, too. And I was just so ecstatic that he got to be in this film, and he just was so enjoyable. Now, if you haven't seen Keanu Reeves in anything, definitely a great film to check him out in. There's a great film that came out a few years ago called Speed! Yeah! Speed! Yeah! Absolutely love him in Speed. Such a great film. Directed by, you know, John Davant, and, you know, starring Jeff Daniels, of course, Dennis Hopper, Sandra Bullock. And, you know, Keanu is just so freaking awesome in this film. He really rocks it. He's awesome as his character. He kicks butt. And just all around, he's just a really great character. And you really enjoy what he does and all the action sequences he does. And he just really showed that he was a really great action star, along with being a little dramatic throughout the film as well. And dealing with the situations he was, you know, getting set to him. It was almost like Die Hard on a bus, really, I felt. And I think that they did such a great job of bringing that film to life, and Keanu was the central key of bringing it to life and just really knocked it out of the park and just made a really great performance. I mean, his action sequences alone, I would have watched just for those, because he just did them so well and was just so cool. It's a really great performance by him. If you haven't seen Keanu Reeves or anything, definitely check him out in Speed. He was absolutely phenomenal in that film. But he was once again phenomenal in Ballerina. He was awesome seeing him as John Wick again, and he just was so damn good. If you haven't seen Keanu Reeves in anything recently, go check him out in Ballerina. He was absolutely phenomenal. So what is Ballerina about? Basically, the premise of the story is we're given the story of the ballerina, who's played by Ana de Armas, and basically about her kind of rise in this great kind of family that takes her in after her father's killed, and kind of about her revenge story and her getting revenge on the people that killed her father. And basically we end up seeing that this interconnects to the John Wick world and kind of what interacts with that, and kind of how her whole world comes to an interesting kind of close and starting point in her life, even now that she's an adult and taking on what she needs to do. It's a really great film, really well done. I was really impressed with it. I'm glad it took the additional year to get everything right and make it a really great part of the John Wick universe. I really enjoyed everything that it was about. I thought the writing was done well, the acting, the soundtrack was absolutely amazing, and what a great cast that all brought their characters so well to life. It just made a really fantastic action-packed film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend go check it out. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up. Can't wait to add it to collection. Really superb film. It's just really well done, and I was really impressed. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out now in theaters. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any older new boot. Jesus Christ, Ron. I don't know what the fuck was up with that. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any newer videos you might not see mine yet. As always, people, a huge shout out to my new and old subscribers. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. But if you want to really help out the channel, please check out my awesome Patreon page, where once you become a member, get access to all kinds of extra accoutrement you don't get here on my YouTube channel. Plus, it also helps me build better and greater films and videos just for you guys. So, definitely something to check out. As always, catch you in the next one.